Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Tamara and I'm the founder of Feminine Essence Sanctuary. Today I want to talk to you about the power of vulnerability. So maybe even just as you are hearing those words, you are confused and be like, the power of vulnerability? How is there any power in being vulnerable? How can this be something that we can use as a source of power? I always thought that being vulnerable is the worst thing and the worst state to actually be in. And I would really do anything to avoid being vulnerable, to avoid feeling vulnerable because it felt really uncomfortable to me. And I just saw it as a weakness. I just thought, I don't want to be vulnerable. No one should ever see me vulnerable because it's a weakness, because it means that I'm not having my life in my own hands, that I have no control over my life, and all this kind of talk. And maybe you recognize yourself in some of those phrases, or maybe you have some other phrases that you say to yourself. And the first thing that I would love to talk to you about is the actual feeling of feeling vulnerable. So for me, for example, especially a few years ago, it was such an uncomfortable feeling. It felt so painful in my body that I would really do anything to not feel this way, to push this feeling away if it came up in any way, and to just not feel it. And the thing is that if we are not wanting to feel our vulnerability, if we see our vulnerability as something negative, as a weakness, we don't see how important it actually is. Accepting our vulnerability is a really important step if we want to step into our power. And there is the power in vulnerability, because vulnerability and being vulnerable with other people, and especially around other people, can really help us to establish a more intimate connection with them. I really didn't understand this for a long time, and so my relationships for a very long time have been on a very superficial level, just because I wasn't ready to show up and to show my vulnerability. I would rather keep it all to myself and not share anything, which of course led to a very, very low level of communication and openness, and which of course led to my relationships being very superficial. And I'm talking about relationship with friends, family, and also intimate relationships. And the thing is that when we are feeling vulnerable, those are usually the moments in which we need support the most. And we cannot get that support if we do not articulate that we need support and what support we need. And in order to do that, we need to be able to also admit to ourselves and to others that we are feeling vulnerable, and to accept that. Because especially in times in which we feel vulnerable, we usually feel like we do not have the power to do things on our own. And that may very well be true in those situations. So what we need is the support of other people that hold us, other people that are there for us, and other people that will, guide us for a little part of the way, that will, give to us maybe that safety and that support that in those moments in which we feel vulnerable, we are not able to give to ourselves. What also may happen is that if we are not admitting our vulnerabilities to others, if we are not asking for help and asking for support in those moments where we really need it, we may very well end up in very dire situations for ourselves, where we are not really able to get ourselves out of but on our own, even if we may believe that we can do that, you know? And this is just another connection to the video that I've made last time, where I was talking about your limits. Knowing your limits, knowing what you can do on your own, and where you actually need other people, where you actually need the support of others to help and support you, to guide you and to help you move along in those situations. Because the truth is that there are going to be situations in our lives where we are not going to be in a position to do everything on our own and to master everything on our own. Because, you know, this experience, this being a human, being in a society, it just involves communication, it involves other people, and it involves, you know, I almost want to say a group effort sometimes. Sometimes we want the support of others, and that is really what we need when we have kind of reached our own threshold and, you know, we have come to our own limits. And then the other people can come in and can give and add that which we weren't able to give. And that is just really important. And that is, you know, just also the beauty of creation. Creating together, creating with others. Our lives, projects, whatever it may be. So I would really love to hear from you. What is your experience with your vulnerability? Are you comfortable in your vulnerability or not? Or have you not been a long time ago, and are you feeling more comfortable now? And what have you done to kind of support yourself on this journey? I'd really love to hear your experience. Please let me know in the comments. I always love to read from you. And until then, I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon in the next video.